think it needs to be clipped on her? So when you pass it to Ryan, you have to come a little closer, Luis, but you might have to duck down so you're not on camera, Luis. Or go from the side.
Same with us.
Nope, that's TV. So Ryan, when Evelyn passes it to you, you gotta she'll unclip and you just need to clip this on. Okay? Ryan, it's gonna blow away. So just
There's a truck coming really quick.
you have to go straight. Only because it flips it on Facebook. It's weird, but that's fine. A little thing.
If I get them out the way, then y'all good. They gotta worry about them.
This is Ryan. Sorry. This is Heather Ryan.
Can you hold up your mask again? Of the mask?
The right side.
Oh, for light. Yeah. Good.
Good. You going this way?
Yeah, it's been helping us the whole time. Why don't you guys come closer? Come closer and let's get bargaining committee members kind of like where's Rob? There you are. Right.
Sounds like you're back to work.
We're back to work. That's what we like to hear. We like it to be noisy. I'm Evelyn Shapiro. I'm the principal officer of the Northwest Carpenters Union and a 21-year union member of the Carpenters. I'm grateful to announce that we have reached a tentative agreement with the AGC of Washington and our members are back to work. As you can hear around us, you hear the clanking and the banging, and that's what we like to hear. Construction workers, carpenters, we like to hear the noise on the streets because that means that we're building. We've had hundreds of members out on strike and picketing over these last few weeks, and we've just had members incredibly committed to the process. We did have a divided membership on our last few contracts, but our membership voted to go on strike, and ultimately the bargaining team got back together and we made the decision to invite some of the oppositional voices specifically to the table. We were grateful to have one in particular at the table that was designated by a lot of the oppositional groups so that we could make sure that there was strong voices in every direction at the table. This agreement reflects some great gains that we got in contracts in the past tentative agreements. It also reflects some additional gains that we're excited about. Right now, I do want to introduce you to Ryan Case. He's one of our bargaining committee members and one of our currently working carpenters.
Like Evelyn said, my name is Ryan Case. I'm a carpenter, a steward, a delegate, and the vice president of Local 30. I became a carpenter 15 years ago. I came to the union for the better wages and benefits and pension for my family and the benefits that offered me in my life. I want my son to know that standing up for what's right and standing up for yourself and your union brothers and sisters can be tough, but it's worth it. Working together, united as one union, and standing together is the best way to bring about change. This new tentative agreement, it takes it down to a 3-year contract instead of a 4, which we voted down previously. Keeps us in line with the other trade unions. The total increase of wages and benefits is $10.02, which translates to a 15.43% increase. It has expanded parking zones in Seattle and Bellevue, and then we also are getting retroactive wages back to June 1st, which I know is going to help a lot of our members who have been on strike. I want to say thank you to all the families and loved ones who have stood by us through thick and thin. I know early morning picket lines and smaller paychecks are not what we're used to, but we've stood together. I want to thank the other unions and elected officials who have showed up and stood with us in solidarity on our picket lines. And I want to thank my fellow carpenters who have stood together and showed up day in and day out to stand for what we want. I think the majority of our members, we think the majority of our members will approve this agreement. It's a good agreement that takes care of our brothers and sisters for years to come and make sure that there's jobs for them to go to. I'm voting yes on this agreement because I know it's what's best for myself and my family. And I hope that my brothers and sisters out there will stand with me. I'll pass it back to Evelyn for questions. Thank you.
Hey, Evelyn, Brian Flores, Fox 13 News. We had understood that there was a 4-year proposal, 20% increase. Why go down to 15.4% for 3 years?
Yeah. So the question about why go down to 3 years from 4 years, a lot of our members just said that they weren't comfortable with that 4th year. They wanted to preserve the 3-year bargaining cycle that we were on, and we got to listen to our members.
How important were the other things besides the pay?
Pardon?
How important were the other things besides the pay?
Well, that was the pay is mostly what was at the table at this point. We had already spent many months going through language, making 100% improvements to language. We really didn't give anything away in this cycle. There's not a single thing that we lost in negotiations, which negotiations is sometimes give and take, and you do lose. But we really did not lose anything for our members in this cycle. So we spent a lot of heavy time on language at the beginning that would make sure to help protect safety and comfort on the job sites.
Evelyn, you said you brought in opposition voices to the table, and that helped. How did that help?
Well, I think it was just important for us as a bargaining team. This bargaining team that you see here and many others have been at the table for several months. And it's important at a certain point when you see membership not passing a contract to invite other voices to the table and say, hey, what are we missing? And that was just extremely important part of the process because of those failures of ratification.
So, Evelyn, can you talk about next steps? I understand this is a tentative agreement. So, is this basically a deal, or do you believe there's going to be any setbacks from the union may not vote on this?
Yeah. So voting information will be coming out this afternoon to our membership, and we'll let everybody know the timeline on that. But basically, our members are back to work during the voting process, and we're just going to fight hard for this contract. We've got a lot of people that believe in it, and we've got a lot of families who put themselves on the line for this strike. I think one unfortunate thing about strikes is sometimes people think that a strike produces automatic, big dollars at the end of the game, and that's not usually how it works with a strike. And so we haven't struck this contract in 18 years, but our members did amazing job at participating in this and really holding up the effort.
Evelyn, when does the voting start and stop?
Yeah, we'll be announcing voting information this afternoon.
In terms of guidelines for union membership, is it just a simple majority for it to be ratified?
It is just a simple majority to be ratified. Yep.
Yeah, Ryan, they want to ask you.
Ryan, how hard has this been for you and your family and your brothers? How difficult has that been?
It's been difficult, right? Like, we're not used to taking time off work, unpaid, and having, like, showing up early in the morning for picket lines and then doing that all day and walking 20-25,000 steps a day and screaming at the top of our lungs is not the physical toll that I'm used to putting on my body, and then at a massively decreased rate from our regular wages. It's been a little unnerving, but thank goodness we were able to reach an agreement and we're getting back to work, because like that's what I do. Like I show up and I do what I'm told, and I'm happy to do it.
Did you feel like 3 weeks? Did you feel like it could have gone longer? Did you feel like it was about to end and then maybe there was light at the end of the tunnel?
I mean, I tried not to have any expectations about how long that it could be. When I addressed the other brothers and sisters on my job site, I told them that there's a possibility this could be 5, 6, 8 weeks. So save your money and, make sure that you can, stand up to the test of time and not getting a paycheck. But I'm really glad that it was 3 weeks instead of 7 or 8. And, I'm really glad to be back to work.
That is a tough conversation to propose 8 weeks where you're not going to get paid, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's an unknown. You know what I mean? Like when going into the circumstance, we didn't have any idea how long it could have been. And some guys were hoping, it would only be a week. And, 3 is a long time to not get a paycheck, especially when some of them are living paycheck to paycheck. Like, that's really difficult. So I know that the vast majority of us are really glad to be back to work.
Ryan, can you talk about the parking zones, parking increase in terms of, can you kind of clarify that, what that means for the workers?
So the vast majority of our members that work in downtown Seattle and downtown Bellevue, they have to pay for parking daily. And, sometimes that's an incredible cost, especially for an apprentice who's making a percentage of what a journeyman makes. And when you have to pay $18, $20 a day to go to work, that hurts. So getting an additional amount of money for working in the downtown and Seattle and Bellevue zones, like that helps a lot with additional money on the paycheck. Because if you are an apprentice or you're a journeyman, you're going to get that extra $1.50 an hour for every hour that you're there.
I mean, that level of paying that level is literally a drain on your paycheck.
Absolutely. It's another bill that you have to budget for.
So it goes to $1.50 per hour.
Per hour, yeah. And in Bellevue, that'll start in June 1st, 2022, and in Seattle, it'll take effect immediately.
Ryan, are you expecting any pushback from union membership with this agreement?
I mean, there's a lot of discussion and give and take and push back and forth, but at the end of the day, we stand together.
Brian, the last vote was pretty close. What's your sense that this agreement, this tentative agreement, might put it over the top this time?
I mean, I would like to think that the percentage of our members who did not participate previously would look to get involved in this tentative agreement, because whether they were taking time off work and didn't want to be, or they were having to pay the strike assessment, I would think that those members have a financial encouragement to get their votes in this time. So hopefully we get a really high membership turnout. Thank you, guys.
Ryan and Evelyn, can we get the first and last names? If you just spelling it first and last names.
Mine is really easy. Ryan Case, R-Y-A-N-C-A-S-E.
Perfect. You just go by Carpenter or...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And Evelyn?
Evelyn Shapiro, EVELYN SHAPIRO, Executive Secretary Treasurer. Principal, EVELYN SHAPIRO.
And how long is the voting process going to be? How long will it take?
It'll typically our electronic voting process takes about 4 days.
So we should be getting results in 4 days.
We will announce the voting when it comes out this afternoon. Our members will be the first to know.
I'll
Yeah.
send out an advisory with the details. You'll have it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Evelyn, I don't know if you would entertain this, but Michelle also covers for Univision. Just a quick update in Spanish, just for her, just a second. Do you want Pedro with me also? On that note, Pedro, do you want to hang here for a second?
I don't know, but that was great.
She does not, so Michelle does not speak Spanish.